Very good evening to all the teachers present in this online meet. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Thank you for the response. Yes. Okay. So now we are having the breach course. We will be discussing breach course for the grade A. Now, as you all know, this breach course gives the opportunity for the child to go through previously learned concept and develop his confidence to confront with the new syllabus and the new topics he will be studying for the grade A. Now, this brief course, if we as a teachers conduct in serious manner, it will help us also. Hello. It will help us as a teachers to make our further journey smooth and with less efforts. And for the students, it is helpful because they will be understanding this concept, they will be revisiting these concepts, and they will able to brush up their concepts, and they will be ready to learn the new topics. Now, over here, if you look at the screen, you can see this breach course is of 6 weeks. As per NCRT, this breach course is designed for the 6 weeks, but Goa, we are thinking of conducting it within the 4 weeks. So again, I would say कि all the activities which are present over here, if you can cover, well and good, but if you cannot cover, do not miss on when you go for any substitution lectures, or if you get any extra lectures in month of June, then please see that you give priority for these particular activities so that every activity will be covered and every child will feel confident to go through this journey. Okay, now over here you could see this the breach course material developed by NCRT, and the hard copy of this particular breach course every school must have got, and the teacher's copy teacher is having with them. So considering that, let me now over here for the teacher, this content page is very important. Now this content page gives us the gist of what teacher supposed to do, what student supposed to do, and per week what activities you have to perform. And you can see over there at the end appendix is mentioned, and at the end in the appendix you could see the curricular goals and the competencies table, which is designed for the middle stage, is given over there, so that while conducting any activity, teacher suppose visit that appendix page and supposed to map the activity with the curricular goal, and teacher supposed to go ahead with that activity. Now, going ahead, this is the context which is given. By the way, this will tell you how this breach course is important and why you have to conduct this breach course for the student. Now, before I go to this breach course further things, I would like to make a mention over here. Ki in our math subject is, though it is very abstract in nature, the mathematics is mentioned as art and science of discovering patterns and explaining them. So, if we train our students to understand the patterns which are existing in our day-to-day life, existing in our surrounding, and if child can explain those patterns very easily, I would say some or other way he is developing problem solving ability, he is developing decision making skill, and this is how you have to condition their mind as a maths teacher, and you have to teach them, you have to tell them mathematics is involved in every processes of our life, and if we do not know these basic mathematics, we won't able to do the justice with our life processes, and we can do it with not way of teaching, but we have to make mathematics truly enjoyable, and that's how we can teach them, and whatever concepts we are teaching, that will remain as permanent in their memory, and they will have lifelong passion for learning mathematics. So as a maths teacher, we need to inculcate love for mathematics through our teaching. So if you go through this whole content which is mentioned only for the teachers, it will give you motivation to start with your bridge course. Now you see your bridge course weekly plan. Now as I mentioned to you all over here, it is given for 6 weeks, and your tentative and suggestive nature of timetable is mentioned over here. You don't have to stick to this, but as per the lecture allotment, you have to make your revised weekly timetable, and according to that, you have to proceed further. Now, you could see here there are 6 weeks mentioned, and each week, could see over here, each week has given 5 to 6 activities to perform. There are only 5 or 6, only the 6th week is having 9 activity to perform. And you could see over in the second column, the competencies are mentioned. So in the first week, you supposed to address these competencies. And how you will be addressing these competencies after performing these all activities which are mentioned in week 1. And similar manner, you could see this table wherein for every week certain competencies are mentioned, and if you take these activities, then you can cover these competencies. So this is what is being told to you all. So as I mentioned to you all, only in the week 6, you could see there are 9 activities, but otherwise you have just 6 activities per week to do. But again, it is not necessary you have to cover all the activities, but see that you are covering as many activities you can, and if more activities are remaining, in month of June, you can have these activities when you go for substitution lecture. If you have extra lecture, you please prefer doing this activity, give preference for doing these activities, and you can continue further with your portion later on. Now the pedagogy and the assessment. Now over here, as you know, our NEP is focusing on activity-based learning, experiential learning, wherein hands-on activities supposed to be done. Child supposed to be given some games, puzzles, activities to do in the classroom, and through this, in the collaborative learning approach, by posing some questions to the students, by giving some questions to do investigation, asking some questions to them, teacher can develop concepts, and through this playway method, teacher can develop more and and which will be very enjoyable. So our pedagogy is supposed to be in this manner, and this whole things which I mentioned over here is basically nothing but the constructivist feedback or constructivist, uh, approach. And with this constructivist approach, if we go ahead, surely we will, able to boost the confidence of our students. Now here see the why this bridge course is important. Here the linkage is given here, and if you perform all these activities, how it will help you as a teacher and how it will help your students, it is mentioned over here. So kindly go through this paragraph. Now student section. Now how to go ahead. Now student, what is expected from student is mentioned over here. Okay. So before I go to these activities, let me make some points clear that before you perform your activities, point number one I would like to mention, before you perform any of your activity, first you map that activity with the curricular goal and the competency. Very, very important. In the 7th grade, those activities are given directly, which is mapped to one particular competency and one particular curricular goal. But here it is not mentioned. Now you have to do it by your own. The curricular goals and competencies are mentioned at the end in the form of appendix. So please go through, and obviously if you go through this part, you see the timetable which I mentioned over here. The competencies are also mentioned over here. So you have for the first week 1, 2, 3, 4. Four competencies. Now, from this four competency, which competency is for the activity 1, which competency for the activity 2, that you have to map correctly. Okay. So this is your job to do. Okay. So now let us make this one point clear. This is the first point. The second point, as I mentioned, you don't have to cover all the activities, but again, I would request you to finish all these activities, not in the month of April, but when you go to the class for substitution lecture, or when you go to your class for any extra lecture which is given to you, you are forced to give reference to do these activities, and then you can start with the. Again, these activities are very small, very short. So 2 activities per lecture also you can do it. The next one, the assessment part. It is not necessary that you have to give pen and paper test to the students to do the assessment of the activity, but the more focus is on giving the answers, the oral answers, and not the pen paper critical, thinking based question you have to ask, more competency based question you have to design and you have to ask, and less preference you have to give for the rote learning. Don't ask more questions on knowledge and understanding, but give the question on application, analysis part, and so on. So now, again, the report, very, very important. Last year, what happened? Every subject supposed to give report, it was mentioned. But this year, you have to keep record of the conduct of the activity and not the assessment of the activity. Let me repeat. When you are conducting activity, you can click some photographs, you can click some video clips, and this is how you can document it. You can take the feedback of the child after finishing that activity. So these kind of documents, these kind of records you have to keep, but the records of assessment, if you want to keep it for your record, you keep it, not a problem, but do not propose conducting. Only what we want is you are successfully conducting that activity in the class, and if you successfully conduct that activity in the class, obviously the output will be fantastic. So that much of confidence we have in our teachers. Okay, the next one, the activity report. I mentioned it before also. The activity report you have to submit to the office. Every subject teacher will be submitting her or his activity report in the office, and the school supposed to combine this whole report, and the every school will be submitting one report for all the subjects. Okay, so this is very, very important. So let us go to the activity 1. So you see, for the week 1 we have activity 1, and here see recreational puzzle. The activity's name is recreational puzzle. So over here, one thing I would like to mention, it is on us how we prepare ourselves to conduct this activity. So it is the whole sole duty of every teacher to make the material required ready before they enter in the class. Okay? Just to save the time, and as you know, the first impression remains as last impression. So if we show our preparedness with keeping our materials ready, with keeping all the requirements ready with us, and if we go in the class, then obviously our the first impression will remain as good impression at the end. Now, what this activity says, the required material here is calendar of anyone, color sketch pens, and here see, sheet of paper. So these materials you have to keep it ready. Now over here, the calendar may be given to student in pair. Again, it depends on you whether you want to conduct this activity by keeping 2 students in a group, 3 students in a group, or number of students as per your class strength you can manage. They have to observe the calendar and write their observation in the notebook. You don't tell them anything. Let them just observe those numbers which are there in the calendar, and whatever observation they can see, let them write in the notebook. Let students do on their own. Teacher can suggest questions but should not reveal the conclusion before taking response of the students' observation. So this is very, very important. We will be just a guide, director of this entire activity. We need to give the support, but we do not have to tell the answers. So teacher may ask some questions to the student. For example, the questions here given, draw box around square numbers. Now, obviously, when I say square numbers over here, you could see over here, see. Now, which is the thing? 9. You can say 4, 9, then 16. Then you could see over here is 25. So all these numbers, what they have to do? They have to draw squares. Okay, they can use any color pencil. They have to do square where, on which number, by the way, 4, 9, 16, 24. Is there any square, perfect square number is here? No. Okay, then draw circle around cube numbers. For example, cube means what? By the way, when you multiply same number 3 times, whatever answer you get, that is a cube. So you could see over here as 8, you could see 8 here, you could see 27 over here. So, you cannot go further because, we have here the limitation that is just 31 numbers you could see. So, whatever numbers you could see over here, with that they have to look at the pattern, and according to that they have to go on it. Now the next question could be, draw triangle around prime numbers. So first of all, know which are the prime numbers. If they know which are the prime numbers, then only they will able to draw triangle on the prime numbers. So here the concept clarity is very important, and child will get concept clarity uh, in this way when you give this kind of activity. Now, this could be some questions mentioned over here. You can have many more questions. So your prior preparation says you have to jot down such kind of questions, and you can pose these questions to the students, and you have to see that the activity is being conducted smoothly in the class. The next thing can be student may be asked to choose any 2 by 2 number square grid. Now for example over here, see you see here 2 by 2. So you see, you can take this column, you can take, you can take this row, you can take this row. And now what you have to do, they should try to answer the following questions. What is the sum of the numbers in the diagonal of the grid? What magic do you observe? Now for example, now over here, see, look at this, 2 by 2. And look at my cursor over here, 2 by 2. So I'm taking 4, 5, 11 and 12. If you add these numbers diagonally, what you get, 12 plus 4 is 16, right? And you could see this diagonal also, when you add these numbers, again the answer is 16, right? So let child tell what observation they are getting. And till they tell you this observation, you have to continue with the activity. So this kind of observations they supposed to work and they supposed to tell. The next one. Here's this particular activity after conducting, you have to ask some reflexive questions. Some questions are, how do you differentiate between square numbers and cube numbers? So they have circled some things. They have they have put some they have put square on some numbers. So on what basis they are differentiating? Give them some chance to think and accept their answers. If they cannot answer, please provide them clues so that they can come up with the correct answer. How do you identify prime number? Let them observe the prime number pattern and let them come up with the property, and that is how through the observation they will come up with the properties of prime number, and they can easily understand the identification of prime numbers, identification of the perfect squares, identification of the cubes, and so on. Now, this activity you can extend it further. You know, some options are given to you over here. See, here what we have taken just 2 by 2 grid, right? And we observe that diagonally, if you add two numbers, you are getting the same answer. The same thing you can extend by 3 by 3 grid, and you have to check what observation you can get. So such kind of extension you can do for this particular activity. Again, you can have it as a group activity, you can have it as an individual activity. It is teacher's way how skillfully she is handling this particular activity. Now, here some scope is given for the special children also. So if there is a special child in the class, how to deal with those students. So some things are mentioned over here. Please go through that. Okay. So similar manner, you could see there are different activities mentioned over here. That is the first activity which I explained to you all. This is the second activity. You could see W12 means the week one's second activity. Okay, so here also certain things are mentioned to you all. So please go through these instructions. These instructions are very clear to understand and very simple to follow. So again, I would like to tell you at the beginning only, if you give clear, concise and proper instructions, then students will be not confused and they will do this activity very smoothly and they will come up with the clear observations. Okay, now you could see over here the third activity. So third activity, this is very simple, very short activity. Again, this fourth activity also very simple and very short activity. Let us try to do this recreational puzzle. Now here what is mentioned, student may be asked to play this game either individually or in pairs. They may be motivated to disclose their strategy before the class. So after they finish this game, they are supposed to be given the opportunity to disclose their strategy, how they got the answer. So now over here you could see over here this grid is mentioned to us. Now here see what is given to me here. Some instructions are given. The missing values are the whole numbers between 1 and 9. So by the way, single digit numbers only I have to enter in this particular grid. You can see 5 by 5 grid is mentioned over here in this grid. And what you can see over here, this is the sum. Sum of the row is this and sum of the column is this. So similar way you have, you see 3 columns sum, and by the way you could see here 3 rows sum. So over here, let us go to the next. Each number is used only once. So this is another criteria. So whichever number you are feeling over here, you are not supposed to feel the same number again. Okay. Let us go ahead. Each row is an arithmetic equation. Wow. So here what is mentioned, you could see there is a plus sign, there is a multiplication sign. So each row or each column is one arithmetic equation. Okay, let us go over here. See, each row and each column is the arithmetic equation. Fine. Let us move ahead. Remember that the multiplication and division are preferred, performed before addition and subtraction. So somewhere here, see, we are following BODMAS, right? So these instructions I have to keep in mind and then I have to fill this particular grid. We have to fill this grid. Now let us look at this first row. Here see the answer is supposed to be 1. Am I correct? So to get the answer as 1, my first number, I supposed to put 6 here. It's mentioned. I need to put numbers from 1 to 9. But if I observe 2, 4, 8 and 3 is already there. So except 2, 4, 3 and 8, I have to use the remaining numbers. Okay. So if I put 6 over here, so 6 minus 4 becomes, by the way, 2, and 2 minus which number I put there, I will get 1 as answer. Please give me answer in the chat box. See, I put 6 over here. So 6 minus 4 becomes 2. Very good, Risha teacher. So you will be putting 1 over here. So you are seeing first row, we are getting 6 minus 4 minus 1. So the answer becomes 1. Right. Very nice. Okay. Now let us go. Very good. Yes. Let us go to the first column. Look, the answer is supposed to be 15 here. Okay. Already I put over here 6. So 6 plus 2 is 8. Right? Now 8 plus which number I have to put over here so the answer becomes 15? 7. Very nice. So this is how we have to feel. Very good. Yes. So this is how we have to feel this particular grid, and this is how we have to get our work done. Okay. So very simple and very easy games are here. So again, it is up to us how we take this in the class and how we make our students to perform. Either you can do it as a individual activity, or you can give them as a group activity. Okay, now let us go for this recreational puzzle. Now you see here some things are given. Locate the following mathematical terms in the above grid. So here see the grid is mentioned. Encircle them in the grid. This could be found vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. But if you look at it, you cannot get anything vertically, because things are in the horizontal way and things are in the diagonal way. Cannot be seen. Okay. So now over here, see, these could be, now let us go ahead here. Now let us see what else is being told to us. Now time may be allotted to do this game. So, whoever is giving things very quickly will score the marks. Marks may be decided accordingly. Okay. Now, which shapes you have to observe over here? Circle, square, octagon, parallelogram, star, hexagon, quadrilateral, triangle, kite, then over here see rectangle. So you could see in the grid, and it is very easily, you can highlight. You see the first row, you can see the square, right? Then you can see third row, you can see the hexagon, right? And then you could see the second row, you could see octagon. So it's very simple to play. So you give the time limit, and as per that, let student answer, and according to that you decide the winner of this particular activity. So such simple activities you can see over here, and this could be really good activities as a where child can develop their concepts very clearly. So I will not go for this activity, but again, this is again very simple activity, pattern observation. So here see, it is your student explore, identify, generalize pattern using physical movement. They can connect it with the number pattern. So basically, physical pattern म्हणजे खंयचे physical movements, for example, clap, clap, clap. अरे clap, 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 clap. म्हणजे clap how many करता? एकदा one clap I am doing it. So basically what is happening? 1, 1, 1, 1. So what is the pattern you can see? 1, 1, it continues, right? Right? So the next, now you tell them, okay, you change the movement. So what could be the change in the movement? Clap, clap, jump. Clap, clap, jump. So if you denote clap as 1 and jump as 2, then the pattern would go in what manner? 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So if you tell your student to identify the next number in the pattern, they can easily say clap, clap, jump. What is it? 1, 1, 2, right? So this is how you can make them to do different physical movements, and as per that, you can generate some patterns and you can go ahead. Let us
जब तक दलीला का नहीं होता
yes, Lorraine,
ये पैटर्न निकालो, ये सब निकालो ऐसा, और ये सब निकालो, समझा? सब निकालो, इकट्ठे करो, उधर बैठो और करो, सब करो, संभल के ले लो, कुछ मत गिराना.
Okay, so now here I am talking about step 3. You see here, see the pattern says.
और फिर ये टेबल का कवर डालो, इधर बैठो, सब निकालो, अलग अलग करो. Focus. I'm going.
So what you doing? So once you are clapping, then twice you are clapping,
और वो कटल को घड़ी मारो अच्छी तरह से और नीचे ले लो. हाँ, घड़ी मारो, बुकली मत बना लो, समझा ना? अभी देखो ये गिरा है तुमने, निकालो उसको.
Okay. Requesting Lorraine madam to mute yourself. Okay. So this is how you can play this game, and according to that, you build. Yes, you build this activity, and steps are given which are very simple in nature, and you can go ahead with that. So it's very simple, very easy to perform, and it is again teacher's role to make it very creative. And now, let me talk about week 2. Okay. Randomly, I'm picking activities, teachers, because it is not possible for me to address every activity. So, randomly, let me pick any activity. So, let us go to, by the way, activity week 2. So, basically, I am going to week 2, and in that, the second activity which is mentioned, I am talking about this. So mathematical tambola. Now what is this tambola? Anyone can tell me what is tambola? Please write in the chat box. It is very simple what we play. Yes, housey. Yes, housey. So tambola is nothing but housey. So we are playing housey, and for every get together. So now we are connecting this housey game, the number concept. So how to play over here? It is, yes, each student gets tambola, that is the housey ticket, with 15 numbers randomly selected from 1 to 90. Okay, then here, instead of directly calling out the numbers, the host will give maths-based clues for each number. For example, instead of saying 2, it may be said an even prime number. Usually what we say 88. We say some funny descriptions like, for our get together. But now what we have to do, we have to shout out the property of that number. And then child will understand that property, and then child will get the correct number. Then only that correct number he will put in his housing ticket. So it is very simple, very different activity to do, and many teachers must be doing it in their day-to-day teaching. So this is not new for our government teachers, but here see they are mentioning it. So you can go through this winning rules. Early files, so we say jaldi file, top row, middle row, bottom row, very relatable to our housing game, full house, and this is how the activity will go ahead. Now, yes, some clues are given for the teacher. Now, how you can write how you can say the clues. Now, over here, see, 3 square. So instead of saying 9, you say 3 square. Okay, instead of saying 65, you can say half of 130. So, you can have different kind of clues already written with you. There, you cannot pick the number and then you cannot think of the clue. You need to have written with you. So, this kind of preparedness is very much important from all of us. Okay. So, this is how you have to go ahead, and the extension of it is also mentioned. So, it's very simple. And the procedures which are mentioned step by step, clear explanation is given to us. Now over here, you go to the next activity here. Okay, now here see. Week 2, activity 4. Now some puzzles are given over here. Now think of any number, add 5 to it, multiply the result, here see, by 3. Now you subtract 15 from above. So you have to look at the instruction, and according to that you have to do the operation. Very simple thing and very easy things to do, And you see here activity 5, the way we had discussed in that previous activity, it is in the same manner. So see that, you are going through it. Again, this particular activity is focusing on the fractions. Fraction pizza party. You can see the name of the thing also. Yeah, sure. So you can see over here, fraction pizza party is mentioned. So again, if you go through these procedures and if you understand, your work will become very simple and it is very basic to understand. Now you can see the week 3. Now under week 3, you see over here again, we are again talking about fraction. Okay. So you have to give some strips to the students. You have to tell them to cut these strips into equal halves, and you have to make them cut that strip till they get the equal half. And you have to ask them to observe, and you tell your observation. And as per that, now you have to discuss certain things with them, and you have to make some suggestions. And very importantly, after you conduct your activity, it is necessary for you to give the reflection on the activity. And when you reflect on this activity, what you are doing is you are connecting that fun part, you are connecting that activity with the concept, and you are developing the concept. So the conclusion by the teacher is very important after every activity, and this is how you have to finish all these activities which are mentioned again here. Again, I am repeating, if time is not enough for you to complete these all activities within a April month, obviously it is not possible. It is very practical, but see that when you are going for some extra class, some substitution class, see that preference for doing these activities in the class, and you make your students ready, to face this new textbook. Okay, so very simple. Now you can see your activity for week 3, packing a suitcase. Basically, when you go for a journey, if we don't have the visualization of different shape and size, it is difficult for us to pack our suitcase. So basically, if you have the knowledge of different, how you do the arrangements, how you fix some shapes in particular place. So, these kind of judgment, if you get, then, it becomes very easy for you to put more luggage in your suitcase and pack more things in your suitcase. So basically, this kind of games are there. Now, one announcement I want to do, that is in your chat box, the link for the Google form is posted. Kindly see that you are filling this Google form to mark your attendance at the end of the session. Okay, so this is the reminder. Sorry. So I mentioned about the report, madam, but again I will be mentioning about it. So let me just scroll down with this. So here, see, in this particular activity, you could see these kind of puzzles in our WhatsApp University also. And these are very simple things, and how to do it. All the procedure is given over here. So see that you follow this procedure and you these activities. All right. So as I mentioned over here, 6 weeks activities are given over here. You try to finish as many activities you can in month of April. Remaining activities, see that you are finishing in month of June for your extra classes, for your substitution classes, for your AEP classes. Okay. But do not miss any one of this activity. Okay, now let me talk about report. Now, last year we had told you all to give activity reports subject-wise. Am I correct? But this time, every subject teacher will submit her activity report in the school. School will compile that report for all subjects, and every school will send the report, compiled report, I would say, of all the subject together. Is this clear? Anyone? Yeah. Any? Okay. So soft copy or hard copy now only, like how we had done last time. The Google form was circulated. Similar way the Google form will be circulated. So what you have to do is, when you are keeping record of your activity, we do not want the record of your assessment. Activity-wise report we want, sir. We do not want the record of the assessment part. But what we want the record of the photos or the video clips when you are conducting those activities. Okay? Or you can give one feedback also of any student after finishing that activity. What is his experience? What is his feedback after finishing that activity? So we want such kind of reports, or we want such kind of documents from you. All right? Okay, so this is how I would suggest you to go through this breach course material. It is very simple to follow, and almost all the concepts are covered over here, and it is justified to, all the children, if they are finishing these activities, and they will be come prepared to face the new syllabus of 8th grade if they successfully finish these activities. So thank you so much for listening to me. If you have any queries, you can please ask.